I posted this eye look last night when I was at Sleep Token, and I had so many questions about it. It is a repeated look, so there is a lot of TikTok content with very similar techniques, but I'm gonna do it for you right now. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a post. And if you wanna learn how to do a Miss Megan cool tone, hazy, beautiful, smoky eye, please keep on watching. Good morning. Normally I film for TikTok in the morning. Like I literally just woke up like maybe 40 minutes ago. But I'm doing it for you guys today. My brows are already done. I'm just putting on serumizer on my face now to start the skin prep process before my foundation. Those are the first 2 steps to doing your eyes. 24-hour eye base. This is an absolute hardcore must, and take it all the way up to the eyebrow. I can't sing. I saw Sleep Token last night, 2nd night in a row, Massey Hall. Please just Google Massey Hall to understand the insanity. Actually, I'll throw up a clip here that I took by myself that I saw with my own eyes that was even closer. That custom pro palette that I did myself, I'll put all of the shades in the description box. I liked going with Sandstone as my crease color on a big fluffy brush. The 224 is actually my favorite. They're too dark right now. Like the shadows on them are too dark. This is just a base to help me structure the eye. So when I'm actually in this outer corner, I'm going from the point to my brow in a straight line. That's like a very specific Miss Megan spot or like thing to do. And then I go horizontal and I push it upwards towards the brow to blend it out. That type of thing is gonna be different on each person depending on how high you want something to be, what your eye shape is. But that's one of mine. And this color just needs to be something that's like close to your bronzer shade, like a contour color. I'll just take a little bit and bring it down onto the lid. And I'm actually gonna do this, even though I know how to execute this eye without the specific steps that I did yesterday, I'm gonna show you how the eye actually started to build itself. I went in next with Brush Brown eyeliner because I was planning originally on doing a winged liner look. I like my liners to go out kind of far. I bring them straight across and then down, and then I fill them in, and then I connect it about halfway. This step doesn't have to be perfect because it's literally laying the structure of where I'm gonna start building the eye. And this is Brush Brown brushstroke liner. So that's just teaching me the shape that I wanted to create. So there's three kind of basic spots when you do a Miss Megan smoky eye. There's the height of the crease. There's the smoky liner here, and then we build intensity in the outer corner. And sometimes I change up the inside of the eye, but this wasn't one of those looks. Next, you need a 219, a pencil brush. And then this is print eyeshadow. I love print because it's really just like a gray. And I actually ran this across. So because that liner is already there, even if I wanted to leave it, you'll get a little bit more of a blend without doing anything. I like to lean the pencil on, or the pencil brush on the edge, like on the side, to help guide it along. And then with whatever's left over on that first brush, I start to soften. So my type of smoky eyes are very hazy, and it's a lot of back and forth. And I didn't record the eye I did last night. Obviously, that's why we're here. So sometimes they turn out better that way when I'm like only thinking about doing the eye. Next, I want to balance out the crease. So I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of Omega, which is a more gray shade. And I'm going to start to build kind of the smokiness in the crease. You're not going to really see this color go down, but you have to know that it's helping in aiding in smoking out the eye. So that's kind of, then I'm taking print and I'm starting to build almost completely over top of that liner. And again, I could have done that right away, except I'm just showing you the actual process I went through. And I'm just bringing that in a little bit more. I lost my melt liner for the billionth time. This is the Gosh Black Ink pencil. And I started to line the upper kind of waterline and lash line. And then when I had added that little bit in, I realized, okay, I actually want it to be smokier. So then I added more print. But at the time I didn't know that that's what I actually wanted or how dark I wanted it to be. So that's why sometimes you have to just build the eye in sections. Like, I'm so very in love with Sleep Token. They are in my top 3 favorite bands. They pushed out Beartooth. That's crazy. Rarely happens. And it's so funny because every year, especially after Spotify Wrapped, but they were already in my Spotify Wrapped. They're my #1. I'm always like, oh, big fluffy brush. And I'm just going over those edges again. Like 2 years ago, I haven't even heard my favorite music yet. Like, there's going to be more great music that keeps coming out. But at that particular time, I was like, I'm gonna get to hear more music. I'm gonna get to hear something even better than what I already love. And that actually happened, not just a song. It happened with a whole ass band, mind, body, and soul. I will worship until the day. Clean as you go. So I just cleaned up under here. And sometimes, so when I start to build the eye, I'll realize that I don't want a winged look. I actually just want something a little bit smokier. So I'll actually let the white drag across the very edge of that liner to shorten it. 217, if you know, you know. So I treat my powdered shadows just like paint. So I'm mixing Omega with a little bit of print, but I'm letting Omega be the color that's actually on the like outside of the brush. And I started to balance out the intensity of here to the top. And I usually lift the brush a little bit off in this area. So more pressure here, lifting off as I get to my brow. And again, I know I'm going back into this area to work, so I don't really care what it looks like. And then I'm gonna take Omega on a fluffy brush again, and I actually go right over top. Because you have to ask yourself, when you're doing a smoky eye, are you actually wanting to see darkness, or are you wanting to see softness and haziness in the actual technique of smoking something out? So for me, it's generally not darkness, it's smokiness. I went back to print and I realized, like, okay, I'm gonna lift this corner a little bit. So just a little bit on the pencil brush. You can also, I know I want to go in this direction. So from the line, I'm like flicking it. Because if I start going like this, you're gonna bring the color down where you actually don't need it to be. And then the 217, because it's smaller, to soften that. So with my smoky eyes, sometimes you can't tell where the actual smokiness is coming from because it's underneath different layers. Like this is gonna end up looking like it's underneath, basically like a brown. And on my eye shape, I like the height of the darkness to be in here, because then sometimes I'll darken in there. This is my secret weapon to smokiness. This is Cozy Gray. I don't really know who this is gonna work on. Load it up and I dust right over top. Do you see that? How that just like melted those colors together? And because it's gray, it does exactly the type of smokiness that I like. You would have to try it with your colors to see if it does what it's doing to me. It's a very underrated shade. So now I got a really beautiful gradient of smokiness, but not intensity of black. I really love this black here. This is a melt detail brush. And this is when I started to intensify the outer corner. I try to leave black until the very, very end so that it doesn't overpower the eye, because I can't really go backwards. And then I can start to see that I want a little bit in this area. So I'm actually gonna switch to the regular black and just on an angle, but I can still see that winged liner point there. So I'm actually using that as a guideline for the height that I want, which is why I put that one down first. So I'm actually gonna meet the top of that liner. Like you can barely see it. It's very, very faint. And I only bring the darkness in, and I'm using the brush flat this way because I just want a little bit of a line. I'm bringing a little bit of that darkness in. Switching to the pencil brush because I need it smaller to blend this out. I'm gonna go over top. And then I'm using my buffer shade so lightly. I'm just grazing over the top to soften that. So I don't put on eye cream yet because I'm usually cleaning it up. Then I realized that I actually wanted the eye to be a little bit darker, but not in smokiness from black. I just needed the pigment to sit darker. So that's when I switched to a liquid. This is the Melt Liquid Eyeshadow in Night Swim. And then I took an even smaller pointy brush. I don't know what this is, a Morphe V203. And I picked up a very little amount and I worked on the back of my hand because so much will come out. And I started to deepen this outer corner. And I brought that up a little bit. I'm sort of tapping it on to move it around. And then I'll take a pencil brush again with that Print and Omega combo. And I'm gonna cover the work and sort of layer it to give it that smokiness. I've created a little bit more of a C shape here. I'm just gonna soften it. I like both. And if I had started with a black wing liner, like this step, it would just be too much intensity as I'm going. And then I'm taking a little bit of Print and moving it into the crease. Go back and just touch up the liner. My baby, a 221, I'm taking a little bit of black with Print because now I need the texture of black shadow to pull the outer corner together as opposed to just the liquid. I'm gonna mix Cozy Gray and Omega together, and I'm gonna go over top of that area. I love kind of the final step on the lid is I take Cozy Gray and I'm gonna actually mix it with Omega. I'm gonna take a little hit of Sandstone as well. Kind of across the whole eye. And then I can, and especially in this area is where I like to be really smoky. Then I can check now where I might want a little bit more darkness or smokiness. So I'm actually gonna bring a little bit of black to the center of the lash line. Touch of the melt shadow that I like. I've made them as perfect as it can be when I'm talking and doing this. With my eyes open, I'm going to, with whatever's on the brush, just move the crease over a bit. So the blend in there is really, really soft and hazy. You don't really know where that's coming from. The only heavy details in the outside corner. A little bit more Cozy Gray, just tapped. When we brighten this part and it comes forward, that smokiness will fall back a little bit. A little more black here. And then I'll show you how I like to smoke out the bottom lash line when I want it to be a little bit more glam and less grunge. So this is Smoke pencil from, got this at the Makeup Shack. It's the Italia liners. So I'm gonna go, it looks like it's this kind of color. It looks like Print. I'm gonna line the inside of my eye, and already we're very smoky. So if you were to go in and blend with a dark color, or even like if I was gonna use Print, it's gonna get heavier and grungier way too quickly. At 239, this is Cozy Gray. So that's my magic eraser. This is my like eraser tool. I'm gonna actually use that, so a lighter color, but like extremely light, to blend out the smokiness or blend out that pencil. And I'll go back to that pencil, the black pencil, and kind of run it through the lashes and connect that outer. So like it's there, but it's not overdoing it. Checking what's on my detail brush, a little bit of gray lightly to add a little bit more smokiness. And like the thing with me is I trust that the color is in the brush and that it's going on the eye. I don't have to see it to know that it's adding smokiness. People do makeup with the intent to like see something right away, but sometimes you just need it to add a different tint or shade. Then I'll go in with mascara, because adding lashes and mascara will add to the darkness or smokiness of the eye. So this is just waterproof MAC Stack. Because I wear fake lashes, I generally don't care about mascara on the top. However, I do care about mascara on the bottom. This is Extended Play. And it's my favorite lower lash mascara. And I just sort of tap at the lash because it attaches, and when you pull off, that's where the product comes off. I don't really like wiggle at it. Okay, last minute touches. A little bit of print. I don't know. And we do one swoop, because you have to remember that this is now sitting on top of kind of layers of cozy gray. Like I need to show you, I'm going like this. Like that's all. So I'm getting just a dusting. But you can see how much pigment is there. Okay, pass one, bit of black, very little. So same thing, I'm gonna graze across the eye. That's the intensity that I'm adding over top. Barely touching. I'm trusting that the brush, I'm letting the brush do the work, it's not me. And then one more hit of Omega and Cozy Gray in the front. And you know where else? That pencil brush. Just on this inside corner. Where did I take off my lashes last night? I feel like they're right in front of me. I don't wash my lashes. I don't clean them. I'll peel off glue just by pinching, and that's it. This is the Melt lash glue. I developed an allergy to latex glue, so this one's the latex free. Oh. Basically the first night of Sleep Token, I wore, I had red eyeshadow like right along my waterlines, and I had an allergy to it. So my eyes have been itchy ever since. So they're like extremely sensitive. I think I need to do my upper lip. It's just that it shows in this light, like I have so much light on me, but like in real life, you can't see. So I wear the same pair of lashes for like a month. So when you usually see me do videos over and over again, they are pretty much custom fit to my eye. This one will be tricky because the eye is wet. And I won't do my brows until my skin is done. Dry. And you are a three-dimensional person. Like we are seen from every angle. So just because when you look straight in the mirror, some of that detail is lost. When you're talking to people, when you're looking down, that's when you start to see like the different layers to your eye makeup. It's different when you do like a really beautiful eye and then you just put this big black winged liner over top of the blending work you did. I really don't know where my brush black is, so I'm taking that Melt. I feel like I did use it last night. Liquid eyeshadow, and I just like to run it over. Oh wait, no I didn't, because the band is fine. Okay, that's fine. But that, my friends, is how you get a hazy Miss Megan cool toned smoky eye. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share whatever mind-blowing Miss Megan blending tricks you learned by watching this video. As always, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a post. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, all under the same name at Miss Megan Robinson. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.